Evening Star Astrology. Thank you for being here. Thank you for coming to another video. As always, disclaimer that my cat is moving around. She's currently under my camera setup, so if everything falls over in half a second, that's why. But anyway, thank you all again for being here. The astrology that's going on in the sky right now is pretty wild. The world in general is pretty wild right now. And I hope this video can bring you some comfort and let you know what you need to know for this week ahead. Let's dive on in. Alright, so this week is busier with big aspects and big shifts. Some weeks are filled with little details or little aspects, but this week is major shifts. So starting out on Monday the 28th, Saturn goes direct. And we have our grand trio in Capricorn right now of Jupiter, Saturn, and Pluto. I've talked about them a million times. You're familiar with them by this point, I'm sure. But for most of the summer, I think since April and May, all these planets have been retrograde. And now one after the other, they're all starting to go direct again. So with Saturn going direct, it's still a malefic planet. It's still not going to turn around and be super friendly or helpful for us. But at least it takes off the retrograde. It's one less thing kind of harming us in that area. But Saturn doesn't get too much of a break because on Tuesday the 29th, Saturn makes a square to Mars in Aries. And this is the second time we've seen this aspect so far. We'll see it a third time, I believe, in early 2021, but they'll be in different signs then. But for right now, Mars in Aries and Saturn in Capricorn are both in their home signs. They are at their most effective, and they're making a square to each other. Saturn is just coming out of a retrograde and Mars is retrograde. So these two planets working together, it's like the long-term struggles of Saturn challenging the short-term struggles of Mars. Kind of, what do I need to do in the long run and what absolutely needs to get done in the next few days for my short-term goals? There's a push and a pull of where to focus your energy and where to do what needs to get done, but unfortunately neither of these planets are really willing to budge. And again, this is a harsh aspect, so these planets aren't working together. You have to pick one or the other, which is never easy. These planets are essentially like a pressure cooker, and this is just generally a very challenging aspect, a very challenging day. So understand that there is going to be a desire to move forward and a desire to stay as you are, and you just might feel generally frustrated and overwhelmed on this day. And then that leads us to Thursday, October 1st, and we start off the month with our full moon in Aries. And we get a blue moon this October, we get a second full moon at the very end of the month, and in addition to that one, to kick it off on the 1st, we have our full moon in Aries. Like all full moons, this full moon in Aries is the fullest expression. Full moons represent kind of the culmination or the harvest. Everything is in full bloom. And normally I would say this is the day to celebrate. This is the day to go out and enjoy the world around you. Enjoy what you've brought into fruition in your life. But this lunation is not quite as, positive or celebratory or wonderful or whatever as most full moons are, simply because of all the aspects going on with it. The moon will be co-present with Mars in Aries. It'll be in a sign-based square to everything in Capricorn. It'll be opposite the sun. It's just a lot of challenging placements. Rather than celebrating the harvest or reaping the benefits of something, this is kind of like the pressure cooker that I mentioned with Mars and Saturn reaching a full point. Like anger that has been building for months and months, or just since the last new moon we had, but the anger and tension have been building and they're going to reach a culmination on this date. So tensions will be high, and yeah, it's going to be a challenging day. I understand that your fuse might be a bit shorter than normal. This full moon on the 1st is kind of highlighting the friction, the challenges, and is just generally very inflammatory. This is not an easy, celebratory, enjoyable time. This is anger, pit in your stomach, you need to act because you've reached a breaking point and there's just so much rage within you that you cannot continue to go forward and be silent or act in the way that you've been acting before. So be prepared that emotions will be high on this day, and again, keyword inflammatory. And then on the 2nd, we have Venus moving into the sign of Virgo. And Venus is traditionally in its fall in Virgo. it's not necessarily happy there. But the thing about this aspect is that Venus will be able to make a trine, which is a positive aspect, to the grand trio in Capricorn. So although Venus in Virgo alone is not super positive, with everything else going on in the sky, it's quite a positive aspect. And because of Venus's ingress into Virgo, towards the end of October, Venus and Jupiter will make a trine together, and we'll touch more on that when we get to that point in time. But the two benefics, when they can work together like that, even if they're both in their fall, that's better than nothing. So Venus in Virgo kind of symbolizes this new hope, and a new shift and a new change. And then finally, on Sunday the 4th, coming at the end of this week, Pluto goes direct. So as I mentioned, the grand trio in Capricorn of Jupiter, Saturn, and Pluto have all been retrograde for a while, and now they're all moving direct. Pluto going direct will not have a ton of impact on your personal life, but the way I'm kind of envisioning these three planets is at the beginning of this year, they made a triple conjunction. These planets in Capricorn have kind of been exposing the structures that exist in our society and how those structures aren't actually helpful to the majority of the people who live in this world, specifically in the United States. And while these planets have been retrograde, I feel like there's been this kind of like energy boiling under the surface of people learning new things and feeling very infuriated by them, but not actually being able to do anything about them. It's just reading the news and feeling frustrated and like, I hate the way that this world works. And with all this action of Mars this week, including the full moon in Aries, and then Saturn and Pluto going direct, I feel like there's this pent-up energy of like, something needs to get done. And as Saturn and Pluto go direct, it's like, okay, we've been processing, we've been working like behind the scenes, making our game plan, and now that these planets are moving direct again, we are ready to go and make the changes. To go out and call our Congress people, sign petitions, make sure that you're registered to vote. Like doing all of these things that need to get done, like fighting the fight to correct structures that aren't working in our society. These planets are ready to go. They've been retrograde, they've been kind of sitting on this for a little bit, and now it's time to act. So to recap this week, there's a lot of powerful energy going on. With the full moon, there's just kind of this like heightened sense of like needing to do something and get that anger out. And then with everything going direct in Capricorn, all of those planets are ready to act, ready to have a game plan, not sitting around and like kind of just passively watching the news anymore. We're ready to go. And then with Venus moving into Virgo, again, Venus is in its fall, but out of everything else going on in the sky right now, that's the least of anyone's concerns. And ultimately, Venus is better equipped to work with the grand trio in Capricorn from this placement. So it's not necessarily a good thing, but it's less destructive than everything else going on in the sky right now. All right, so that's all the astrology for this week. I'm gonna go grab my oracle cards and we'll get some advice and words of wisdom for this intense week ahead. Also, quickly while I'm shuffling, I just want to apologize. I've really been slacking on my Wednesday uploads, and you know, I have a million excuses, lack of like kind of creative inspiration, technology issues. My computer is not working right now, like it won't connect to the internet for some reason. And just generally, I haven't really been wanting to post things that I don't feel super proud of, and I've been feeling this creative block that's not helping me think of ideas that I really want to make. But I should be back with a video this Wednesday. Like, I'm gonna make it happen. Let's speak into existence. I will post a video this Wednesday. Yeah, so I will see you back with my more regular uploads then. And then obviously I'll keep doing the forecast because I really do enjoy making these. Okay, so the first card that jumped out is being yourself is sacred. Yeah, like this card says it all. There is so much value in just being yourself. You are so important and worthy, and you have so many wonderful gifts to offer this world. And as I was talking about the astrology of this week, I kind of mentioned like everyone's gonna be feeling this way. We're gonna want to deal with structures and like existing systems of oppression. And while those are very universal things, remember that your role in that is critical, and bringing your gifts to the table is especially important with that. Even though we in this country who are working to make changes are working towards the same or at least a very similar goal, sorry if you can hear my cat scratching her litter box, You yourself have your own agenda, you have your own goals, and your steps that must be taken to reach your goals. And even if your goals align with everyone else, you have your own path to get there. So being yourself is sacred. Don't try and be anyone else. Just be exactly as you are, because you are perfect just as you are. Let's grab another card. All right, the next card that jumped out is it's okay to feel feelings. I think that's especially important around the full moon because like I said, everything is heightened. Emotions are running higher than normal. Everything is more tense, and the littlest thing will seem to set you off. That's okay. Whatever you feel is 100% valid. You don't need to justify to anyone else why you feel the way that you do. And I encourage you not only to just like feel your feelings, but express them as needed. If you need to do some self-care and like go for a run or scream into a pillow or like, I don't know, make an angry tweet or something, whatever you need to do, do it. Allow yourself to feel your feelings, allow yourself to process them and release them. There's no such thing as good feelings or bad feelings, positive or negative. They are all part of the human existence, so feel your feelings exactly as they are. All right, and the last card I pulled is Cultivate Stillness, and I feel like we get this card a lot. Maybe it's just a reminder for me, but I hope that this also resonates with you. With this week, like I said, emotions are running high, tempers are short. There's this feeling that you need to act right now. You need to be working towards something. Even if you don't have any gas in your tank, you need to be moving forward. You need to be productive. You need to be doing something at every minute of every day or you're wasting your time. Capricorn really wants to move forward because it's methodical and knows that you need to start today if you want to reach your goal by a certain date. And Mars in Aries just wants to move because it's a fire sign. It needs to move. It needs to be doing something. And then with the full moon there's like this emotional need to be doing everything and feeling everything and taking on huge loads. And ultimately that's not realistic. Cultivating stillness is so important. Obviously, meditate and journal and do all of those wonderful things. Do yoga, take walks, move your body as needed, nourish your body well, nourish your mind, and then take time to just be still. And this could obviously mean meditation and calming your mind and calming down in that way. But I think that the stillness can also refer to just not overloading your plate. And if you need a night in, and like you shouldn't be going out with friends right now anyway, but let's say you had a Zoom date with a bunch of friends and you're like, actually, I have way too much going on right now. I just need to watch a movie and chill. Do that. That kind of stillness and going within and listening to your own needs. Remembering to feel your feelings and like feel what you need to do for yourself, and then cultivating stillness from there. And then of course, being yourself is sacred. So this week as you go ahead, be in touch with your emotions, understand that this is just generally a challenging week astrologically and in the world. And sometimes the best thing you can do is just being yourself and just staying home and sitting and cultivating that stillness within. That is all I have for this forecast video today. Thank you again for watching. Thank you for subscribing if you aren't already. And go ahead and leave a comment and let me know how your week is shaping up, how you feel about this astrology. I'm a little nervous, but at this point, like, it's like 2020, what else can you do? So yeah, let me know your thoughts and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.